I speak this word today, not from a place of desperation, but from a place of divine knowing. I speak it not because I am trying to convince myself of something false, but because I am returning to the truth of something that has always been real. I am the lender, and not the borrower. I am the head, and not the tail. I am above, and not beneath. This is not wishful thinking. This is not positive confession made from a heart trembling with fear and uncertainty. This is spiritual law. This is the unchanging, unbreakable, unyielding truth of the divine mind that governs all things. And I now align myself fully, completely, and peacefully with it today and in every day that follows. I do not waver. I do not question. I do not shrink back. I have turned my face toward the truth, and toward the truth alone, and I will not be moved by any appearance, any circumstance, any voice that tries to tell me otherwise. For too long I have allowed the voice of fear to speak louder than the voice of faith in my life. For too long I have allowed numbers on a bank statement, uncomfortable conversations about money, and the heavy noise and discouraging narrative of the world around me to define my financial identity and determine my financial future. For too long I have looked at the facts of my situation and allowed those facts to sit in a higher position of authority than the truth of the Spirit. But today that changes in a permanent and irreversible way. Today I make a new and final decision about where I place my trust and what I choose to believe and what I choose to allow to define me. Today I silence the voice of lack and I amplify the voice of divine supply. Today I turn away completely from every appearance of limitation and lack. Today I lift my eyes above every challenging circumstance, above every number that has caused me anxiety, above every situation that has seemed impossible to change, and I fix my gaze firmly and permanently upon the truth that is higher than all facts and stronger than all appearances. And the truth is this: I was never meant to live beneath. I was never created to go without. I was never designed to keep borrowing what the divine has already prepared and set aside to give me in abundance. I was created to be a channel of divine abundance, and that channel is open now. That channel is flowing now. That channel cannot be blocked by any human force, cannot be delayed beyond its divine time by any earthly circumstance, and cannot be denied by any power operating anywhere in this world. I declare today with the full authority of one who knows their source that my financial restoration has begun. Not when things look more favorable, not when my circumstances change first, not when the economy improves or the season shifts or the conditions align in a way that human wisdom would call ready. Now, right now, in this very moment, in this very breath, the law of divine restoration is actively operating in my life. It is working in the invisible realm, rearranging circumstances I cannot yet see with my physical eyes, moving people I have not yet met into their proper positions, preparing resources that have not yet appeared on the horizon of my visible experience, dissolving obstacles that seemed permanent and immovable, clearing paths that seemed blocked, and connecting me to the abundance that was always, from the very beginning, meant to be mine. I do not need to see the evidence before I choose to believe it. This is the ancient and eternal way of faith. I believe first, and then I see. I speak first, and then it manifests. I declare the truth first, and then the truth materializes in my physical experience. This is the law of faith, and I now stand fully, confidently, peacefully, and without any reservation under that law. I erase from my mind every memory of financial lack that has tried to define me and confine me and keep me from stepping into the fullness of what belongs to me. I erase every lie that told me I would always struggle, that this is simply my lot in life, that some people are born to have and others are simply meant to go without. I erase every false belief that said I was not worthy of wealth, not deserving of abundance, not capable of living in overflow and genuine surplus. Every single one of those beliefs was a lie, dressed in the clothing of wisdom and past experience. Those were the shadows of fear and the echoes of painful past seasons, not the light of eternal and unchanging truth. The truth is I am worthy. The truth is I am deserving. The truth is the divine source has already prepared my provision, has already assigned my supply, has already written my name on an inheritance of abundance that no circumstance, no person, and no force on this earth has the power to revoke or to permanently withhold from me. And that provision is making its way to me now, with perfect timing, with perfect order, and under grace in perfect ways. I do not rehearse the years of borrowing as if they have the power to determine what lies ahead of me. I do not replay the seasons of lack, as though lack is my permanent nature and my unalterable destiny. I do not carry the heavy and exhausting weight of past financial struggles into this new declaration of truth and faith. That chapter is finished. That season served whatever purpose the divine intended, and it is fully and completely over. A new declaration rises in my spirit today, and it says with settled, unshakable, quiet confidence, I am the lender, not the borrower. I am the one who gives from a place of overflow, not the one who must plead from a place of emptiness. I am the one whose river runs abundantly full, not the one whose well runs dry. And I speak this word with calm authority, with spiritual power, and with the full assurance of one who has placed their complete and unwavering trust in the source that has never failed a single soul who trusted it entirely and completely. God is my source. Let me say that slowly and allow it to settle deep into every part of my being, into every cell, into every belief, into every corner of my consciousness where fear has attempted to make a home. God is my source, not my employer, who can restructure and let me go at any moment. Not my client, who can choose another provider tomorrow. Not the bank, which operates by the limited rules of human economy. Not the government, which rises and falls with political winds and seasonal changes. Not my family members, who carry their own burdens and their own financial limitations. Not my past performances, my educational credentials, my track record, or any other earthly qualifier that human beings use to measure the worthiness of provision. God is my source. The infinite, eternal, all-sufficient one, who was before the beginning of time and will remain long after time itself has come to its end, and within whom all things exist and have their being. The one who lacks absolutely nothing, and from whose fullness all of creation is continuously and abundantly and freely supplied. God is my source, and God never runs dry. God never forgets. God never fails. God never looks at my financial situation and feels uncertain or limited or worried about whether provision will arrive in time. God never looks at what I owe and feels inadequate to address it. God is infinite, and abundance is simply the natural outward expression of the infinite made visible in human experience. I am one with that infinite, and therefore, lack is not my nature. I am connected to that abundance through faith, through my spoken declaration, through the quiet and settled certainty of one who rests in the knowing that all is already well, all is already provided, all is already accomplished in the invisible realm where spiritual law operates without restriction or limitation of any kind. And what is accomplished in the invisible must, by the unbreakable and perfect law of the Spirit, appear and manifest in the visible realm of human experience. This is not a hope. This is not a wish. This is not merely a possibility waiting to be determined by circumstances. This is law. Immovable, unbreakable, eternal, perfect spiritual law that operates the same way every single time, without exception and without failure. I now speak to every spirit of financial bondage that has attached itself to any area of my life. I speak to every chain of lack and debt and limitation that has wrapped itself around my financial situation, to every burden of owing that has pressed down upon my shoulders year after year, to every anxiety that rises in the quiet of the night when I think of what is outstanding and what seems to be absent. And I declare with the full power of spiritual law and with the authority of the divine word that those chains are broken today. Those chains cannot hold what divine law has already declared to be free. Every financial burden is being addressed right now by divine intelligence that is actively and creatively working on my behalf. Every financial obligation is being met and satisfied in ways that I have not yet seen and through channels I have not yet identified. I do not panic about what I owe. I do not allow fear to be my constant companion when I think of my financial obligations. I do not lie awake rehearsing numbers and calculating impossibilities. I rest in the knowing that the same God who parted the Red Sea for those who had no other way through, the same power that multiplied 5 loaves and 2 fish into abundance enough to feed thousands with full baskets remaining, the same Spirit that calls things that do not yet exist as though they already do, and causes them to come into being, that same source is working powerfully and persistently on my behalf right now. And if God is working for me, what debt can withstand it? What financial mountain cannot be moved? What obstacle cannot be completely and permanently dissolved? There is not one single challenge that stands a chance against the working of divine law on behalf of one who believes. I begin the restoration of my financial life from the inside. I begin where all true change begins, in consciousness, in belief, in the inner world that the outer world must always reflect and express. I understand deeply that the outer world is always a reflection of the inner world. The physical realm is always an expression of what is being held in the spiritual and mental realms. What I hold as true in my heart and my consciousness magnetizes to itself the circumstances and the experiences that match it. And so, I now deliberately and intentionally and with great spiritual care make the profound shift in my inner world that must be reflected in my outer world. I now inhabit the consciousness of the lender. I think from the consciousness of one who has more than enough for every need. I speak from the consciousness of one whose supply is always flowing and always full. I feel from the consciousness of one who is completely at peace about money because money is simply a servant that goes where the divine directs it. And from this consciousness, from this inner reality that I am building and choosing and inhabiting right now in this moment, I attract the outer reality that corresponds to and reflects it perfectly. I release the poverty mindset completely and permanently. I set it down with finality, and I walk away from it with no attachment, no nostalgia, no temptation to pick it back up when circumstances seem difficult. I release the survival mentality that has kept me operating from scarcity rather than from the abundance of the Spirit. I release the scarcity thinking that told me there was not enough to go around, that generosity was dangerous, that giving would leave me with less, that receiving was somehow selfish. I release the old programming that said money is hard to get and impossible to keep, that wealthy people must be fundamentally different from me in some essential way, that prosperity is for others and struggle is simply my assigned portion. I cancel every one of those false beliefs. I declare them null and void, and without any authority or power over my life from this moment forward. And I step fully and boldly and with great confidence into the mindset of divine prosperity, the mindset of one who knows that the source is infinite and completely unlimited, the mindset of one who has crossed permanently from the economy of fear into the economy of the Spirit, the mindset of the lender and not the borrower. Large sums of money come to me now quickly and easily, under grace in perfect ways. I speak this with a certainty that is deeper than emotion, and more stable than feeling, and more powerful than any circumstance that seems to contradict it. I speak this with the calm authority of settled faith. Large sums of money come to me now. Unexpected income arrives from sources I did not anticipate and through channels I did not plan. Long-standing debts are settled in supernatural ways that I could not have engineered through my own effort. Bills that have caused me anxiety are paid with ease and with surplus to spare. Needs that seemed impossible to meet are met by the divine supply that knows no limitation. This is the word I speak, and the word I speak is law. Because the word of faith spoken through a mouth that believes completely and a heart that trusts entirely is the most powerful creative force in the universe. It does not return empty. It accomplishes everything it is sent to accomplish. And this word is sent today in full and complete and unwavering faith. What does it look like to truly live as the lender and not the borrower in every area of life? The lender is calm, where others are anxious about financial pressures. The lender is generous, where others are tight and controlled by the fear of not having enough. The lender is trusting, and at rest, where others are driven by panic and urgency. The lender has enough to give freely, because the lender is connected to a supply that cannot be exhausted by generosity. The lender does not hoard what they have, because the lender understands that a river must flow to stay clean and full, and stopping the flow stops the replenishment. The lender does not fear what tomorrow holds, because the lender knows that the same source that provided generously today is already providing for tomorrow and every day beyond it. The lender does not define themselves by what their current account balance says, because the lender knows that their real account is the infinite account of divine supply to which they have complete access through faith and through declaration. I am that person. Today, I am that person. In every moment from this point forward, I am that person. I am the lender. My relationship with money is healed and completely restored beginning today. For so long, money carried a heavy emotional charge in my life. For so long, money felt elusive and anxious and complicated. For so long, the thought of money brought worry rather than peace, brought shame rather than dignity, brought fear rather than freedom. But I renounce that relationship with money entirely today. I declare a completely new relationship with money beginning in this moment. Money is a tool. Money is a servant. Money is a channel through which the divine expresses its desire to bless me, and through which I in turn bless others. Money is good. Money is neutral. Money in the hands of one who walks in faith and who is led by the Spirit is a powerful force for good in the world. I welcome money with completely open hands. I receive it without guilt. I hold it with wisdom. I release it with joy. I circulate it with confidence. Because money is simply the visible expression of invisible divine supply. And the invisible divine supply is always available, and always more than sufficient. I speak now, with great love and great authority, to the deep places of my own heart, where fear has made its home. To the part of me that learned early in life that there was never enough. To the part of me that watched others struggle with money and concluded somewhere deep inside that this was simply the way that life works. To the part of me that experienced financial rejection, or financial shame, or financial desperation, and decided that it was safer to stop expecting too much so that disappointment would hurt less, I speak to every one of those tender and wounded places with genuine compassion and with firm spiritual authority, and I say, hear me now. Your protection is no longer needed. Your fear was a response to something that happened in time, but the truth of God is eternal and transcends time, and the eternal truth says that you are provided for, always, without exception, without end. The source has always been faithful even in the seasons when human channels failed. The source has never once forgotten you. The source has never once run out of ideas, or resources, or power to provide. And the source is now releasing what those difficult seasons seemed to withhold, with compound restoration, with overflow, with the kind of abundance that makes up for every season of lack and then goes far beyond restoration into surplus. I am healed in my relationship with money today. I am healed of every fear that whispers it will never be enough. I am healed of every shame that says I should not desire more or expect better. I am healed of the false belief that confused financial suffering with spiritual virtue or confused poverty with holy surrender. Holiness is not poverty. True righteousness does not require lack. True surrender is not the surrender of provision, but the surrender of control. The divine delights in the genuine prosperity of those who trust and honor the source. The divine opens rivers in high and unlikely places and streams in the middle of wilderness seasons. The divine prepares tables in the presence of enemies and causes cups to run over in ways that make no logical sense to observers. The divine recompenses years of loss with seasons of surplus that exceed the loss in every measure. This is the nature and the character of the God I serve. Overflow, abundance, more than enough. And I receive it all. I declare that entirely new channels of income are opening for me right now. I declare that ideas are flowing to me that will generate wealth in ways I have not previously experienced or even considered. I declare that divine connections are being arranged behind the scenes. that the right people are being positioned to cross my path at the right moment with the right opportunities. I declare that favor is surrounding my life in every direction, and that everywhere I turn, I find open doors and cooperative circumstances and divine opportunities that are perfectly aligned with where I am and where the divine is taking me. I declare that I am in the right place at the right time with the right preparation and the right faith to receive everything that the divine has been preparing for me in the seasons of waiting. I bless all that I currently have. No matter how it appears right now, no matter how small it seems, I bless every bit of it with genuine gratitude and genuine faith. I bless my current income because blessing my income opens the door for more to flow. I bless my current home and my current possessions. I bless my current abilities and my current opportunities. I bless the money that is already in my hands because what I bless grows and multiplies. I bless the money that has already passed through my hands because it served its purpose and went to do good. I bless the money that is on its way to me because it is moving toward me right now through channels I trust, even though I cannot yet see them. I live in a constant state of blessing and gratitude, and in that state, I become a magnet for the continued and increasing flow of divine abundance. I am a generous soul, and I always have been. Even in the seasons when I had very little, my heart wanted to give. And now I declare that my generosity is matched by divine supply that makes giving effortless and joyful and free. I give because I know the source is endless. I give because I understand the law of circulation that says what goes out in faith comes back multiplied. I give because generosity is the highest expression of the faith that says I trust the source to replenish and increase what I release. Every seed I plant in faith produces a harvest that is greater than what was planted. Every act of generosity is a declaration that I am not operating from scarcity, and every declaration of abundance that I make with my giving returns to me as the physical experience of abundance manifesting in my life. I now speak the complete and final word of restoration over every area of my financial life. I speak it with peace that surpasses understanding. I speak it with power that comes from faith and not from human effort. I speak it with the settled certainty of one who has heard the truth and chosen once and for all to live by it, regardless of what the appearances around them may say. Every debt is satisfied by divine supply. Every bill is paid through divine provision. Every need is met by the source that lacks nothing. Every desire of my heart that is aligned with my highest good and the highest good of those around me is fulfilled in ways that are beautiful and surprising and abundantly more than I asked for. Large sums of money come to me now, quickly and easily, under grace in perfect ways. My income multiplies. My resources increase. My channels of supply expand beyond anything I have previously known or imagined. My financial life is restored, renewed, and rebuilt by the hand of the divine into something more beautiful and more abundantly complete than anything I could have constructed through my own effort and striving. I now speak about the specific and tangible ways in which my financial restoration is manifesting. Money is coming to me from multiple directions simultaneously. There are streams of income that I have not yet seen, but that are already in motion. There are provisions being arranged that will arrive at exactly the right moment to address exactly the right need. There are financial blessings moving toward me through channels that the divine has prepared specifically and uniquely for my situation. I do not need to manage all of these channels. I do not need to control their timing or their method. My only assignment is to remain in faith, to maintain the consciousness of the lender, to keep speaking the word of abundance over my life, and to receive with gratitude and with open hands everything that the divine sends my way. The divine handles the details. The divine handles the timing. The divine handles the delivery. And the divine never mishandles any of those things. I declare that I am no longer afraid of money. I declare that I am no longer afraid of having money. I declare that I am no longer afraid of receiving money, holding money, managing money, or talking about money. Fear of money is a poverty trap, and I am stepping fully out of that trap today, and I am not returning. I am at ease with money. I am comfortable with abundance. I am relaxed and clear and confident in my relationship with financial provision. I know how to receive, and I know how to steward, and I know how to give, and I know how to multiply what comes through my hands. And I operate in all of these areas with the guidance of divine wisdom that makes every financial decision I make an act of faith-led stewardship rather than fear-driven reaction. I declare that the spirit of lack has no more authority in my life. Lack is not my nature. Lack is not my destiny. Lack is not the will of the divine for my existence. I was not created to struggle perpetually or to remain in a constant state of financial anxiety and survival. I was created for abundance. I was created for overflow. I was created to be a demonstration of what the divine can do for and through a person who trusts completely. And I now step into that demonstration boldly and without apology. I allow my life to become a testament to the faithfulness of the divine. I allow my financial restoration to become a story that encourages others to believe. I allow the overflow in my life to be visible to those around me as evidence of what spiritual law produces for those who align themselves with it faithfully. I now release every false vow of poverty that I ever made about my own life. Every time I said in despair that I would never get ahead, I cancel that declaration now. Every time I said the money never stays with me, I revoke that statement now. Every time I said I am terrible with money, I dissolve that self-assessment now. Every time I said I just cannot seem to get my finances right, I erase that belief now. These were not truths. These were fear-filled declarations made in difficult moments, and they have no power over me any longer because I cancel them with the greater power of divine truth. And divine truth says I am more than capable. Divine truth says I am guided in every financial decision. Divine truth says I am a wise and faithful steward of whatever passes through my hands. Divine truth says I always have enough and more than enough because my source is infinite. I declare that my financial testimony is changing. What has been said about my finances? What has been believed about my finances? What has been experienced in my finances? Is all giving way to a new and better and divinely authored story. The old story said, not enough. The new story says more than enough. The old story said always behind. The new story says always provided for. The old story said, financial struggle is my companion. The new story says divine abundance is my inheritance. I am writing a new story with my mouth, with my faith, with my consciousness, and with the daily decisions I make to trust the source rather than to fear the appearances. And this new story that I am writing in faith is being etched into the substance of my reality by the hand of the divine. I speak now about the people who will be blessed because of my financial restoration. The giving I will do when abundance flows freely in my life. The needs I will meet for others. The generosity I will express without holding back. The seed I will plant in the lives of others who are in the middle of their own difficult seasons. The financial restoration of my life is not only for me, it is for every person I am meant to bless. It is for every cause I am meant to support. It is for every need I am meant to meet, and every dream I am meant to help make possible for someone else. The divine restores my finances not only so that I can be comfortable, but so that I can be a channel of blessing to the world around me. And I accept that assignment with joy. I receive it with enthusiasm. I step into it with the confidence of one who knows that what passes through generous hands is always replenished by the source. I declare that fear is finished in my financial life. Fear of debt is finished. Fear of bills is finished. Fear of not having enough is finished. Fear of financial failure is finished. Fear of being judged for past financial mistakes is finished. All fear is finished because I do not operate from the realm of fear any longer. I operate from the realm of faith. And in the realm of faith, every need is already met. In the realm of faith, every debt is already addressed. In the realm of faith, every provision is already prepared. In the realm of faith, The answer exists before the question is fully formed. I live in that realm. I operate from that realm. I speak from that realm. And the visible world that I experience must align itself with the invisible realm in which I choose to dwell. I now see my finances through the eyes of faith, and the eyes of faith see abundance, where the eyes of fear see lack. The eyes of faith see open doors, where the eyes of fear see walls. The eyes of faith see solutions where the eyes of fear see impossibilities. The eyes of faith see provision, where the eyes of fear see absence. I choose the eyes of faith. I look at my financial situation through the lens of what the divine is doing, not through the lens of what the circumstances currently show. And what the divine is doing is restoration. What the divine is doing is increase. What the divine is doing is establishing me in a place of overflow and abundance and complete financial freedom. And I see it. I see it with the eyes of faith. And what I see in faith I receive in experience. I stand firm in my declaration, even when the visible world seems to say something different. Even when the bank statement does not yet reflect the abundance I have declared. Even when the bills seem larger than the income. Even when friends or family members do not understand why I speak with such confidence about finances that have not yet caught up to the truth I am standing on. I do not waver. I do not allow external appearances to move me from the ground of spiritual truth on which I stand, because I know that the visible always lags behind the invisible. I know that manifestation always follows declaration. I know that the harvest always comes after the seed is planted, not at the same time. And I planted the seed of this declaration today with full faith, and I will stand here trusting while the harvest forms beneath the surface and prepares to break through into my visible experience. I declare that divine wisdom is guiding every financial decision I make from this point forward. I will not make financial decisions from panic or from pressure. I will not make financial decisions from the fear of what others will think. I will not make financial decisions in haste or in confusion. I will make financial decisions from peace, from clarity, from the guidance of the divine intelligence that knows the full picture of my life and knows exactly which decisions will serve my highest good and the good of those around me. And when I act from that place of divine guidance, I never make a mistake. Every decision I make, from the center of faith and peace, is the right decision. Every action I take under divine guidance is the right action. I am divinely directed in my finances, and I follow that direction with confidence and without hesitation. Large sums of money come to me now, quickly and easily under grace, in perfect ways. I speak this one final time before I close this declaration of faith. Large sums of money come to me now quickly and easily under grace in perfect ways. Not through striving, not through manipulation, not through desperation, but through divine grace working through perfect and unexpected channels, in perfect and divinely ordered timing. This is my financial reality. This is the truth of my financial life as it is declared in the Spirit and as it is now manifesting in the natural world around me. I receive it. I claim it. I give thanks for it. And I walk forward into the fullness of it with every step I take from this day forward. I now walk in a completely new financial identity. My identity is not shaped by what I have been through. My identity is not determined by past seasons of financial difficulty. My identity is not written by the numbers I have owed, or the bills I have struggled to pay, or the prayers that seem to go unanswered in seasons of waiting. My identity is written by the divine. My identity is the lender and not the borrower. My identity is the head and not the tail. My identity is the one who is provided for, the one who overflows, the one who gives freely from the abundance of the source that never runs dry. This identity is mine. I claim it fully. I inhabit it completely. I walk in it with every step I take from this day forward. And because my identity is established in truth, everything in my experience must eventually align itself to match the truth of who I am. I speak now about the peace that comes with this declaration. There is a peace that settles over the soul of one who has truly decided to trust the source completely. It is not a passive peace, not the peace of one who has given up and stopped caring. It is the active, alive, vibrant peace of one who knows that the divine is working all things together for good. It is the peace that says, I have done my part, and the source will do its part, and the two together are more than enough to bring forth the manifestation of every good thing that has been declared in faith. I live in that peace. I breathe that peace. I radiate that peace. And when others see me and notice the peace I carry in the middle of financial challenges, they are drawn to the source that gives such peace, and that source is glorified through my trust. I declare that my financial story is a story of grace and not of shame. Every difficult season I have walked through in finances has been a season of forming, of deepening, of developing in me the faith and the trust and the character that is able to hold and steward great abundance without losing perspective or gratitude. Every season of lack was a classroom, and I have graduated from that classroom with honors. I have learned what the soul learns through difficulty, which is that the source is faithful regardless of how things look. And now I step from the classroom into the open field of divine abundance, with the faith I built in the hard season and the expectation I have refined through the process of trust. I am ready for abundance. I am prepared for increase. I am equipped for overflow, and the divine is releasing it to me now. I declare financial peace over my home. Peace where there was once tension about money. Peace where conversations about finances were once loaded with fear and frustration. Peace where decisions about spending and saving and giving were once made from anxiety. My home is a place of financial peace because I carry the consciousness of divine supply, and that consciousness permeates my environment and influences every conversation and every decision made within it. My family is blessed by the peace I carry. My relationships are enriched by the absence of money, fear, that I model and teach. My home is a demonstration of what it looks like when a person trusts the source completely and lives from that trust in every practical and daily and financial decision they make. I now declare the law of compound restoration over my life. For every year that the enemy of fear and lack has stolen from my financial life, the divine is restoring with increase. For every month I spent in anxiety about money, the divine is giving me months of peace and abundance in return. For every season of barely enough, the divine is granting a season of more than enough that makes the difficult season fade in comparison. The divine is a God of restoration, and the restoration is always exceedingly abundantly above what was lost. I do not receive a small and cautious restoration. I receive the full and extravagant restoration of the divine, which is the only kind the divine gives to those who trust completely. And I receive it now, with open hands, with a grateful heart, and with the settled knowing that this is who the divine is, and this is what the divine does for those who choose to trust rather than to fear. I am the lender and not the borrower. I say it one final time as the capstone of everything I have declared today. I am the lender. I am the one who gives. I am the one who overflows. I am the one whose supply is always more than sufficient. I am the one the divine provides for abundantly and without hesitation. I am the one who walks through this world as a channel of blessing, because I am so thoroughly and completely blessed myself. I am the lender. This is my identity. This is my spiritual reality. This is the truth that governs my financial life from this moment forward. And this truth, spoken in faith, held in the heart, and trusted without wavering, must and will produce the manifestation that matches it in every area of my visible financial experience. Gratitude is my response to every truth I have declared today. From the deepest and most genuine place in my being, I give thanks. I give thanks before I see the full manifestation, because I live by faith and not by sight. I give thanks in the middle of the process because I trust the process. I give thanks at the beginning of the restoration because the beginning of faith is the beginning of manifestation. Thank you, Divine Source, for my financial restoration that is already complete in the spirit and is manifesting now in the natural. Thank you for the debts that are being canceled and satisfied. Thank you for the income that is multiplying. Thank you for the channels of supply that are opening in ways I have not yet imagined. Thank you for the opportunities that are even now moving toward me. Thank you for the divine arrangements happening in the invisible realm on my behalf right now. Thank you for never leaving me. Thank you for never forgetting me. Thank you for the higher law under which I now live, the law of abundance, the law of divine supply, the law of the lender and not the borrower. Thank you for making me the head and not the tail. Thank you for the inheritance that is mine by divine right. Thank you for the restoration that is more complete and more abundant and more beautiful than anything I could have designed or engineered for myself. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am at peace. I am completely and thoroughly and restfully at peace. The kind of peace that does not depend on circumstances changing first. The kind of peace that cannot be explained by the balance of an account or the resolution of a debt. The kind of peace that comes from the deep inner knowing of one who has placed their complete trust in a source that never runs dry and never fails the one who believes. I am at peace about my finances. I am at peace about my debts. I am at peace about my future. I am at peace because the word has gone forth and it will accomplish what it was sent to accomplish. I am at peace because the law is at work even now in the invisible realm. I am at peace because the source is completely faithful. And I am at peace because I know who I am. I am the lender and not the borrower. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am provided for, cared for, covered by grace, and surrounded by divine favor that opens every door and clears every path. My financial restoration is not coming. It is here, it is now, it is real. It is established in the invisible and manifesting in the visible. It is done, and I receive it completely, freely, joyfully, gratefully, and under grace, in the most perfect of ways. It is so, and so it is, forever and always. Amen.